Many Nigerians do not recognize or are not aware of other parties apart from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the All Progressive Congress (APC). Some are not even aware that apart from these parties, there are 16 other parties duly registered and recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission. This knowledge gap indicates a low level of awareness creation on the part of these political parties. We spoke with some Nigerians in order to ascertain their level of awareness concerning these other registered political parties, and this is what they have to say.
I know of APGA. Yes, I know of APGA. One of the reasons is most of them, they don't push awareness and enlighten people more about the parties. One, and they don't, I think, do enough welfare, and you understand, on how the people will know about those parties. And secondly is, the reason why people know APC, PDP more is because those were the parties, you understand, in the ruling state of Nigeria, in the ruling system of Nigeria. It was once PDP and it's now APC. So that was how their popularity boosted, and everyone knows of them because they're the one in charge, they're the one in power.
Basically, don't pay attention to any other one apart from those two, because last is the two of them that will struggle out there, whatever. So they are very unpopular. They don't have the popularity. They don't have the. They are just not popular. Most you ask me now to find, tell you one or two of them, and I cannot. I can't even remember. They are so inconsequential.
Well, there's no another party apart from PDP and APC. They are all the same. They are all the same politician. Moving from APC to PDP to APC to PDP in a situation whereby they discover that their interest is not protected, they flirt around the two parties. And the smaller ones also, they are the one that created it to suit their own purpose. The smaller parties, one, there's no awareness about them, of their existence. Secondly, the two political parties, that is APC and PDPs, they have the henchmen who muzzles the political system.
Barrister Johnny Agim, the lead counsel for Legal Assent, attempts to dissect this matter. He explains most Nigerians vote for popular parties, mostly for what they stand to gain.
You can't take away the fact that money plays a huge role in politics. Popularity plays a major role in politics. And most of particularly these two bigger political parties, if I may say, have their offices across the length and breadth of this country. They have their structures in those places. So it's easy for them to be able to woo in voters, or rather the populace, to support them or identify with them, not because they have anything that is different. They just that advantage that they have over the smaller political parties.
So, what are these political parties not doing right to gain the attention of Nigerians? The executive director of CISLAC, Rafsanjani Awal, has this to say.
They have not been able to mobilize Nigerians to see the need for them to move from these totally commercialized political parties to political parties that are rooted based on ideology, based on sincere programs that could help deliver a democracy and even good governance in Nigeria.
Agim has an idea or two on how these political parties can overcome this challenge.
There's a whole lot of alliances that needs to be created, a whole lot of merger that needs to be created, and then there's a whole lot of grassroots work that needs to be done, where sensitization of persons at the grassroots with persons of like minds. Smaller political parties need to now start doing is to gather resources, pull resources together, mobilize to the grassroots. In as much as we agree that yes, there's money, there's hunger in the land. Trust me, people know the difference. But the only challenge I have is, if I don't get the money that I see, is it the promises that might take time to begin to yield results that I have to wait for? So I'd rather go for the money. So the smaller political parties equally need to understand that money plays a major role, in fact, a big role in our climb. So they need to start pulling resources together to mobilize just the same way the bigger political parties are mobilizing. Unfortunately, the bigger political parties are the persons who have been sitting on our collective kitty, our collective wealth over the years. So they have a big war chest. But trust me, an idea whose time has come, once there's that mobilization and people can sense it and they can take benefit of it with little support here and there, they'll definitely push out these big political parties.
Mr. Rafsanjani adds that if the smaller political parties become better organized, he is sure Nigerians will start looking into them.
These political parties, the smaller ones, are actually focused and very strategic and engaging constructively. I believe that Nigerians will have a rethink and will no longer be following the wagon of the bigger political parties, because the bigger political parties appears not to have met the expectation of Nigerians. Smaller parties, they are operating within the compound of democratic tenet, internal democracy and this accountability. I think many Nigerians would rather go to the smaller parties. I think less the smaller parties begin to build and create momentum and show value in terms of what they do, Nigerians will definitely rather identify themselves with these smaller parties.
Mr. Agim is on the same page with Mr. Rafsanjani.
Yes, Nigerians first and foremost need to understand that politics is life. How do I mean? In every strata of life, there's politicking, both in our families, in our homes, and what have you, in our institutions, everywhere. And so Nigerians need to now start getting much more interested in politics. And getting interested in politics is not waiting till when it's time to go and vote, when you're trusted with the candidates that these so-called bigger political parties have come up with. Nigerians need to now start getting interested from the get-go.
The PDP and APC have governed Nigeria since its return to democracy in 1999. In all the years since then, many struggle to name the positive impact both parties have made on the country. This is why many believe it is time for Nigerians to give a new party which is devoid of the baggage of both the APC and PDP a chance in 2023. Before that happens, other opposition parties will have to show they truly exist and not just on paper.